is where it all begins. The leap of faith. The first step to the journey. Towards the unknown. The challenging. The daunting. But when we're together, hand in hand, the journey becomes exciting. We're partners, you and I, together, facing your fears, pursuing your passion, breaking boundaries, building your future, overcoming challenges, celebrating every achievement. When we're together, we're unstoppable. When we're together, anything is possible. At BTN, we know the power of partnership. A good partner works with you intimately. A good partner knows what you need. A good partner always has your back. A partner for starting your dream family, building your dream home, realizing the dream. It takes courage to begin, but it takes encouragement to keep on going. So go on, dream big. We're with you every step of the way. You have a partner in BTN.
Dari inci tiap inci, lalu langkah demi langkah, bertahan menyerang formasi di lubang kunci, disiplin anti kalah, main bersih tanpa darah, rapi kendalikan amarah, tak terhenti membangun asa di lingkaran masa, bersorakan masa, gagah bagai gladiator, kuat seperti Thor, membara bak kobor meski trash talk mengompor, shake and bake, behind the back, Euro step, step back 3, no look back, cepat gebrak dan gedor, wheel pass to the back door.
I do this for the flag, for the red and white. Honorable like the we both day and night. That purple and gold, beri mereka bukti. Walau berbeda musti, merah putih, merah putih. Pass layup, ya assist, then up. Score ditambah ya hands up, angka melaju kencang. Bola di pegang lawan, tunggu sampai turnover. Lalu fast break, mental pemenang, even when it's over.
We have less than 2 weeks remaining in the regular season, and it all comes down to this for these teams trying to make the playoffs. They actually made the playoffs, but trying to get a favorable spot here at the Gor Kertajaya Gym in Surabaya, Indonesia. It will be the BTN CLS Knights against the visiting Saigon Heat. Noel Zarate here alongside Mikey Reyes, and again, the playoffs are loom very, very close for these two teams, and they want to get that favorable position going in.
An exciting matchup here tonight in Indonesia. Both teams fighting for that playoff position. Especially now, these deep into the season, you will need these games a lot more here tonight for both these teams.
And we continue to rise to greatness as we see if the playoffs started today, the BTN CLS Knights would be the 5th seed with that 13-11 record. Saigon Heat at the 7th seed right now, but the playoffs don't start until about 2 weeks from now. So for the BTN CLS Knights, a win here, Mikey, will propel them to probably a good chance to get home court advantage in the first round.
And we all know that the CLS Knights play a lot better at home. They're actually 9-3 at home, and the last five games they're 4-1. So this is a big game for them to keep that winning momentum entering the playoffs.
Of course, Daryl Watkins One of the keys to the game here as we take a look at this, Mikey, explain this to us.
Well, obviously, they will have to protect the three-point shot, especially against a team that has a lot of shooters, a lot of players who can stretch the floor. They need to execute, especially down, especially in the fourth quarter, if they want to get this win against the Kyle Barones and, of course, the Trevon Hughes of the Saigon Heat. And, of course, be consistent the way that they have been, especially at home. That consistency for all 40 minutes is important for them here tonight.
They're one of the toughest teams to beat at home. As you mentioned, 9-3. The Saigon Heat are actually 4-8 on the road. And coming off that loss against the Westports Malaysia Dragons, let's take a look at that matchup. Of course, let's take a look at the win first on the road for the BTN CLS Knights against a top 4 contender, the Singapore Slingers. This was an overtime victory for the visiting team.
Well, this was a big game, especially coming from Maxi Esho, 29 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists. As you can see here, Douglas Herring also had a game of his own, 36 points, 11 rebounds, almost a triple-double, 3 assists away from his version of a triple-double. But, you know, Saigon Heat, again, struggling the past few games as they lost to the Westport Malaysia Dragons, and Trevon Hughes has been struggling a bit in the last 5 games, only averaging 16 points and 5 rebounds a game. But Kyle Barone, as always, protecting the paint for them, taking control of the inside game for the Saigon Heat. 32 points and 12 rebounds against the Westport.
He missed his career high by just 1. Of course, Doug Herring had his ABL career high in their last victory. 2 straight wins now for the BTN CLS Knights. However, 2 straight losses for the Saigon Heat. And Saigon has to pick up the pieces if they want to get a favorable position in the playoffs.
And this is what we were saying. Coming into this game, one team, like what you said, lost 2 straight. The other team winning 2 straight.
Yeah.
But you have to forget about that because this is a big matchup here today. This win, if Saigon can get this win, then they can, you know, propel themselves above the standings against the CLS Knights. But we will see how both teams will react to a big game like this here in Indonesia.
We have our player introductions ongoing right now. Saigon Heat in red and the BTN CLS Knights in purples. Let's send it over to courtside for the player introductions.
popular number 3, Brandon Sawado. And the people MVP, Maxi Esho. Coach Koko and Coach Herustio Nugroho and Coach Ricky as assistant coach.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem.
Kami mohon Anda boleh bangkit berdiri untuk menyanyikan lagu kebangsaan Indonesia Raya.
Bagi yang mengenakan topi, kami mohon dilepas jenak pula. And this is our national anthem, Indonesia Raya.
Siapa kita?
Indonesia!
Siapa kita?
Indonesia!
Siapa kita?
Indonesia!
For the BTN CLS Knights.
Well, we see the starting lineup for the CLS Knights. Daryl Watkins, the usual starting lineup for them. Herring, Wong Wei Long will handle the point guard duties, Maxi Esho, and of course, Brandon Hawato. But like what you were saying about the floor of the CLS Knights, of course, there's a certain advantage when you play on your home floor where you practice every single day. So the familiarity with the floor, with the rims is important. But you know, the flooring right now, away teams know how tough it is.
Yes.
And the home team also knows how a big of an advantage it is to be able to familiarize yourself with the wooden floor that they have here in Indonesia.
Well, we have less than 2 minutes to go before the actual tip-off. And again, remember, this place is where the CLS Knights actually scored a ABL record 22 three-pointers in one game. They followed that up with 18. Kyle Barone, as usual, getting the start here for the Saigon Heat. And again, this is going to be an adjustment for them. I was talking to Coach Kyle Julius earlier on about the dip in the offense without Murphy Bernatowski in their lineup. They did bring in D'Angelo Hamilton, but he's more of a defensive specialist.
That's what we were saying. D'Angelo Hamilton has, of course, upped the defensive stand of the Saigon Heat. But again, the offensive onslaught that Bernatowski had when he was with Saigon is something that they're looking for. And with that, also, Trayvon Hughes has been struggling.
Yeah.
Like what we said, last 5 games, 16 points in their last game against the Westport Malaysia Dragons, which they lost. He was only 2 of 21 from the field. So they will have to look for offense, whether it be from their locals or from the airports, especially now that they don't have the luxury of having Murphy Bernatowski.
And here's a development. Coach Coco Nugroho is back at the helm. Why? Because Coach Brian Rousem is actually serving out a suspension, a league-imposed suspension, 4 technical fouls amassed. And a lot of coaches have to go through this at one point in the season. But again, Kyle Julius still at the helm for the Saigon Heat. And the keys, we talked about that. But personally, looking at the Saigon Heat right now, their offense is not going to be as hot as it was when Murphy Bernatowski was there. So it's a point of adjustment now for Kyle Julius.
Well, they will have to play better defense, especially against a team who has a lot of weapons, especially from the outside. You're
Right.
talking about Brandon Hawato, 10th in 3 points made. They have Wong Wei Long, obviously, 9th in 3 points made. And also Maxi Esho is 4th in 3 points made. Like what you said, they are hot, especially from the outside here in this arena.
Yeah.
So Saigon will have to adjust and have to defend the perimeter a lot better if they want to get this win.
I'm looking forward to that Brandon Jawato matchup against, of course, Chris Durker. These are the two, what we could say, the two guys who have really stepped up among the locals for both squads. As you can see there, Kyle Barone coming off that 32-point game. But again, that Durker-Jawato lineup, is that what a matchup is what we want to look at here as well.
And when you talk about the ABL, I mean, we've been here. This is our 9th year now, and we
Right.
all know that it's an imports game.
Right.
This year we have 3 world imports, and you know that they're gonna deliver for your team. If you can find 1 or 2 locals to consistently contribute and help the imports out, that is very big here in the ABL game. So like what you were saying, Jawato and of course Dirker will have a big role in this game, and of
Right.
course in the future, especially when they go into the playoffs.
And what an acquisition, of course, for the CLS Knights to get Wong Wei Long. Was a longtime member of the Singapore Slingers, a member of the Singapore national team. His mother has Indonesian roots, so he's probably the first player, first local player in the league to play for 2 different teams.
And you know, when you talk about Wong Wei Long, look at this resume though. But you know, we're only talking about a 2-time local MVP.
You're right, you're
here
right.
in the ABL. So we'll see how he can fare against the Saigon Heat here today.
And he is also the #1 3-point shooter of all time in the ABL. As you can see, the first attack here for the Saigon Heat, that is a rejection immediately from Maxi Esho. Kyle Baroni's got to do a lot of this, shooting from the outside, and he knocks down that 3-pointer.
Well, that's one way to negate the defense of Maxi Esho down low, getting that first block. But Kyle Baron putting that team on his shoulder for that possession, hitting a big 3-pointer there.
He has a career-high 33, came short, had 32 in his last game. Wanting to get another one, but this time on the road. 3-pointer, Brandon Jawato can't answer. And the rebound picked up by Barone. Now Barone, despite the fact that he's about 6'11", 7 feet, likes to bring down the ball. So for the Saigon Heat, they're going to run a lot of pick and rolls. Let's see what they do. Here, it's another pick and roll right there, and an easy one again for Barone. You know, for Daryl Watkins, he has to be a little bit more active down there, Mikey.
Especially going up against an aggressive Kyle Byrne, obviously coming out of that dugout here today, starting the ball game. Aggressive five straight points for the big guy of Saigon.
And still scoreless are the BTN CLS Knights. And again, the Heat force a turnover. Coach Coco Nugroho on your screens is befuddled right now with the slow start for the BTN CLS Knights.
And you gotta love what the Heat is doing here to start the ball game off. Like what we were saying, they have to find offense, and it's good that they're trying to get the basketball to Kyle Barone, getting his rhythm early here today.
Barone now drawing out Daryl Watkins. I'll move the ball around. Tran on the drive. Tran changing directions in midair.
And that was a result. The floor opened because Kyle Barone popped out there, so Watkins couldn't leave him alone, leaving a wide open lane for Tran for those 2 points.
And the first attack inside is a miss coming from Daryl Watkins. And here comes the attack now for the Saigon Heat. However, Hughes lost the handle. And into the front court we go. Doug Herring on a 3-on-2. Herring keeps it himself and scores!
Defense to offense for CLS, getting that steal, and Herring going all the way with a nifty lay-in. He was looking for the end one, but he will have to settle with those 2 points.
36-11 and 7 in the win in overtime at Singapore for Doug Herring. And he has the first 2 points of the game for the Knights. And the locals trying to get active here. Tran with another drive, and he will earn free throws.
And I think it's obvious, pretty obvious, that Tran is challenged going up against Wong Wei Long. Obviously, like what we were saying, the history of Wong Wei Long here in the ABL. But Tran is putting it upon himself and tried to be aggressive and attack Wong Wei Long here, going left, beating him with the first step, getting that foul, almost that end one opportunity. But Tran being aggressive here in the first few possessions for Saigon.
Tran already with 3 points in the game. Tran Dang Kwa, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals in the loss against the West Sports Malaysia Dragons. And Mikey, you and I were talking about this kid. He can actually give you a poor man's triple-double, but he also has defensive stats.
Actually, he's put in there to defend the perimeter for Saigon. But if you can get those extra points, those extra assists, then those are big stats for Saigon.
Herring on the drive. He's the only one to have scored so far. Here's Esho. Moving over to Wong Wei Long. Big mistake, leaving the #1 3-point shooter of all time in the league open.
And that was a nice extra pass for Esho. He could have taken the three-pointer, but he had his little buddy on that left corner, way long. That's just a usual shot for him.
Right. And Kyle Julius senses something is amiss. Calls an early timeout for Saigon. The Heat are still up 9-5. Back with us here at the Gorkartajaya Gymnasium in Surabaya, Indonesia, as the regular season draws to a close. Last 2 weeks, actually less than 2 weeks remaining of the regular season. March 24 will be our last game, and then the playoffs already begin. Now, Mikey, these two teams are already in the playoffs, but for the BTN CLS Knights, they want home court throughout the first round of the playoffs, and they win here and that they take care of business, probably get another win on the road in Hong Kong to close out their season. They might just get that #4 seed.
And they know within themselves that they are better and they are more familiar with this court right here. So they want that home court advantage entering the playoffs.
You're right. Barone putting the moves on the defense, but he will be guilty of steps. And somebody missed a cut there for the Saigon Heat.
And CLS has been playing way better defense in the past few possessions compared to how they started this game. And now they have a chance to cut further into this lead.
Oh, you have less than 7 minutes remaining here in the first. 9-5 for Saigon. Watkins trying to get position on Barone. Decides to get it out now to Wong Wei Long. Shot clock down to 7 seconds. And a problem for Jawato's dribble. That's going to be a backing violation against the Knights.
Well, that was a good effort there for Wong Wei Long getting that ball. Especially Trayvon Hughes was about to pick it up for that easy lay-in. So you can say that Wong Wei Long saved them 2 points there.
However, it will be a turnover against the BTN CLS Knights. A little bit of a slow start for the home team. Remember that teams that made it to the playoffs already had a hard time winning in this building.
And we've been talking about how CLS has been good at home.
Yeah.
But Saigon has been struggling away from home.
You're right.
They're actually 4 of 8 away from Vietnam. So they will have to adjust, especially going into the playoffs. If you don't win home court advantage, you will need to be better playing in other people's arenas.
Here's Hamilton going inside against Maxi Esho. That's another matchup that Hamilton might even have the advantage on because of his length.
Well, those are the extra points that you can get from Hamilton, of course, playing defense in the paint. But on offense, if you can get a few points from him, that'll be good for your team.
Here's Daryl Watkins getting it right back on the penetration.
Good recognition there for CLS, finding Watkins down low with a much smaller defender. And Watkins knowing what to do with the basketball down there, getting those 2 points.
So the motion offense right now. Hamilton puts it up from deep. That's something that was early in the shot clock, not something that coach Kyle Julius is not going to like. Jawato moving in. They get it out. Here is the drive. Almost, but not quite for Daryl Watkins. Free throws coming up for the Knights.
Pretty Euro step there for Watkins. You see the versatility of this guy. He may be big, he may be huge, but he has that footwork that you need to get around his defenders, almost getting that end one opportunity there. But Watkins will have 2 free throws here. Another chance for them to cut into this lead.
And for Coach Coco Nugroho, if Daryl Watkins can make Kyle Barone work a little bit more on defense, that'll help their cause for sure.
And if you can fish for a little more fouls from him also.
Yeah.
You know, Kyle Barone very, very disciplined with his fouls, but right now he has 1 foul with 5 minutes left, 5 and change left.
Watkins knocks down 2. This lead is down to 2. It was 7-zip to begin the game, so the Knights, a little bit of a diesel start, but they are humming right now. Tran using the screen. Nobody picking him up, and Tran will finish.
And Tran just doing a good job complementing his imports, because the defense, of course, is focused on the other guys, mainly Barone and Hughes, but he is picking his spots, waiting for the lane to open up. And Tran already with 2 drives to the basket.
Yeah, D'Angelo Hamilton breaking that one up. He's really brought in there for his defense. He's not going to score like 30 points a game like Murphy Bernatowski, but his defense can help lower the score. Here's Maxi Esho, has 0 attempts in this game. Jawato on the drive, hang time move. And he will have to get to the free throw line to earn his 2 points.
And the past few possessions, CLS has just been really smart with the basketball, recognizing who has the mismatch, who has the advantage in that situation. Esho looking for Jawato there against a much smaller Tran, and Jawato powering himself down the lane. 2 free throws again for CLS, really being aggressive in the paint, getting those fouls.
Brandon Jawato, of course, a product of the University of Hawaii. His father is from Bali. His mother's from the United States. So talk about a life lived in paradise. Your father's from Bali. You study in the University of Hawaii. And here you are back in Indonesia. And 2 knee surgeries later, he's still making a difference in basketball.
Of course, this is the privilege that these athletes get, especially if they just keep working hard. They will find opportunity. And here he is in Indonesia, living his dream, playing professional basketball.
Lead down to 2 once again. That pass is broken up. Doug Herring, who was the ABL's Defensive Player of the Month last January, because of stuff like that, because of his steals, is gonna break up the play.
And here he is tasked to guard Trayvon Hughes. Again, Trayvon Hughes has been struggling in the past few games, so Herring will try to keep him that way here in today's game.
Barone hit a 3 earlier. Barone puts it on the floor. Near steal by Jawato. Trend from deep. Not this time. Battle for the rebound. Watkins gets it, and off and running are the Knights. Here's Herring. He's going to slow it down. Too many red shirts in front of him. Maxi Esho still looking for his first shot of the game, but he's one of the more patient imports. This is his first shot. It's a bank shot for 3 points.
I don't know if it did that on purpose, but still 3 points for Maxi Esho, getting the lead for his team, 14-13.
First lead of the game for the Knights. 3-pointer on its way. That one is short. And another rebound for Esho, who's doing a little bit of everything right now.
What an adjustment here for CLS, just being more aggressive both on offense and defense, especially compared to how they started this ball game, finding their niche, finding their legs under them.
Watkins in trouble. Wong Wei Long bails them out with another 3.
And again, the #1 3-point man in the league in ABL history for his second 3-pointer of the ball game.
4-point lead now for the CLS Knights. Kyle Barone wants it back, can't get it back. And the rebound cleared again by Maxi Esho. Dangerous pass, and that is going to be a turnover once again. Tran will wait. Tran gets it over to Trayvon Hughes. Hughes on the lob pass to Kyle Barone.
And that's how crucial every possession is. Just that small turnover by Maxi Esho resulting to 2 points, 2 easy points for Kyle Barone. Down low off of that lob from Trayvon Hughes. That's a 4-point swing right there.
I was talking to Kyle Julius before the game. They feel their backs are against the wall, especially after losing to the West Sports Malaysia Dragons. They are running out of time to get a favorable position into the playoffs, and they don't want a losing streak heading into the postseason. Here's Tran in trouble. And that's going to be a foul on Wong Wei Long trying to reach in against the Saigon Heat.
And that's Wong Wei Long's second foul, so we'll see if the coach will adjust, take out his point guard to end the first quarter. Caught his hand in the cookie jar there, talking about Wei Long.
And it's still going to be Saigon Heat basketball. 17-15 with under 3 minutes to go here in the first. Hughes hounded. Hughes gets away. Hughes all the way.
And that's what Trayvon Hughes can do on the floor. Just really be aggressive and try to go through the defense and attack the defense of the opponents.
Now Maxi Esho tried to be aggressive himself, but overshoots on the layup. We are tied at 17 here at Gor Kertajaya. Barone passes up on the open look. Durker for 3. And nobody boxing out Hamilton, but Hamilton lost the handle.
But that's what Hamilton does. The activity down low, the intensity to get those 50-50 balls.
And the CLS Knights will sue for time. We got an interesting one brewing here at the Gor Kertajaya Gym in Surabaya. Tied at 17. We'll be right back. 2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining here in the first period. We are tied at 17 between the BTN CLS Knights without Coach Brian Rousen today. And they're going up against the road team, the Saigon Heat. Now, Saigon had a 7-0 start to this game, But the CLS Knights actually even picked up a 4-point lead just a few moments ago, leading 17-13. Saigon has scored the last 2 baskets, though.
Well, basketball here today, obviously a game of runs, but it's pretty evident here that both teams really match up well against each other. 17 all here with 2 minutes left in the first.
3-pointer on its way. Doug Herring knocks it down.
And this is what we were saying. We know that CLS can shoot the lights out, especially here at home. But Saigon has given them enough open looks to make 4 3-pointers here in the first quarter.
Hughes, long 2, way off. And Barone is at the right place at the right time for the reverse.
But Barone trying to keep his team afloat here. But still, you gotta love the aggressiveness of Trayvon Hughes in the last few possessions.
Well, the Knights still hanging on to this 1-point lead. Esho remaining patient. Jowato open for 3. Even he joins the party.
That's 5 3-pointers for CLS. 15 points from beyond for the Knights here at home. And the crowd is loving how they are shooting the lights out here today.
They're on pace for 23 pointers in this game. At the rate they're going, Hamilton gets it back.
Well, we were talking about Hamilton not being an offensive player, but they're showing us the range. Hamilton getting those 3 points back. And they're only down by 1 here with 50 seconds left.
He is averaging 18 points a game, but coming off only 11 in the loss to the West Sports Malaysia Dragons. Doug Herring wanting to run the pick and roll with Daryl Watkins. They get it over to the side. Arif Hidayat can't get it to go. And Hamilton secures the rebound. A chance for the Heat to regain the lead with half a minute remaining. Hamilton keeps it himself, but can't get it to go, and Hidayat can't control it either. So it'll stay with the Heat.
May not have been the best possession there for Saigon, but still the aggressiveness of Hamilton, leaving him with a wide open teardrop. But unfortunately missing that, but they get the ball back. We'll see what they can do with the last 24 seconds, but 14 on the shot clock, so the ball will go back to the CLS Knights.
Well, barring an offensive rebound, of course, by the Heat. There's a 9-second differential between the clocks. Hughes trying to feed it to the post, and Durker has it knocked out of bounds. So 11 to shoot for the Heat. Here's Coach Cal Julius directing traffic. Inbound play now. And another bat out coming from Doug Herring. That shot clock is down to 9.
And you can see the length of the CLS Knights really getting all those tips, which is big, of course, trying to negate the offense or delay the offense of Saigon Heat by trying to pressure the basketball.
Hughes looking for a friend. Durker gets creative, can't get it to go. And I don't know if that can be a shot clock violation, but they will say jump ball, possession arrow to the CLS Knights. It can't be a shot clock violation because Durker's shot hit the rim.
5 seconds.
5 seconds remaining. Uh-oh, Herring lost it. Durker heaves it up. And at the end of the first 10 minutes of action, the BTN CLS Knights, after falling behind 7-zip to begin this game, take a 1-point lead into the second quarter, 23-22 against the visiting Saigon Heat. More ASEAN Basketball League action when we return. Stay with us.
Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Traveling kini tak perlu repot tukar uang ke money changer. Uang saku kuliah kamu di luar negeri tak lagi terpotong ini itu. Kamu bisa mulai tabungan kamu tanpa khawatir kurs naik turun. Dan dengan kurs kompetitif, bisnis kamu akan selalu mendapat nilai tukar terbaik. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas.
Lapar, makan mie jangan mikir. Nih, piknik, tak bikin dulu.
Fit me, makan mie, jangan mikir.
Ketika keadaan tak sesuai harapan, Stop! Jangan banyak drama. Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Uang saku kuliah kamu di luar negeri tak lagi terpotong ini itu. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas. Tanpa provisi, tanpa drama.
And again, they won 5 straight here at home in one stretch when they had 5 consecutive games. They were almost unbeatable, even beat the Formosa Dreamers along the way as D'Angelo Hamilton gets the scoring going by giving back the lead to Saigon. And a foul in the backcourt. Could this be against Hamilton? He's reacting to it.
And Hamilton has really been attacking Maxi Esho. Maxi Esho may be longer, has a longer reach, but Hamilton has been using his body well to shield the ball away from Maxi Esho.
And Esho's now doing a little bit of point forward chores for the BTN CLS Knights. Trying to get it to Herring, broken up again by Trayvon Hughes. And Hughes will finish on the other end.
Defense to offense for Saigon, and this is exactly how they started the ball game earlier. A 7-0 run in the first, right now a 4-0 run to start the second quarter.
Tran with the reach in there, but you like the pressure defense applied also by Saigon right now.
And that's what Tran does, pressuring the basketball, especially the backup point guard trying to bring the basketball down, and Tran trying to frustrate their guards and pressuring from the backcourt.
Arif Hidayat did see his first action in the first quarter. Santi Cornyawan also in now for the BTN CLS Knights. Here's Doug Herring faking the 3, locating Maxi Esho, another 3 for the Knights.
And the Knights picking up where they left off. That's their 6th, I believe, their 6th three-pointer of the game so far. And Maxi Esho with 2 of those.
Tran, suicidal drive, can't get it to go. And the rebound picked up by Esho once again. Esho is now tasked to bring down the ball, pulls up for another 3. Doesn't get it this time.
And that's a heat check for Maxi Esho, trying to get his 3rd here today. But you got to give that to him, the aggressiveness of Maxi Esho, trying to reel in Hamilton away from the basket, giving his teammates enough space.
Hamilton also knows how to draw fouls. And Maxi Esho will be whistled for his first.
You got to love the matchup between Hamilton and Esho here today. Hamilton trying to bully his way in the paint, while Maxi Esho using his range to score on the other end.
And I believe Maxi Esho is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. You know, you said 29 points in the last win against the Singapore Slingers, but we also didn't mention it. He picked up 6 steals in that game.
Maxi Esho just doing it on both ends of the floor for the CLS Knights.
Hamilton good on 2. So the Saigon Heat so far keeping the CLS Knights at bay. One more thing that the Saigon Heat are doing right now, Mikey, they're keeping this game low scoring. Well, let's see if Arif Hidayat can add to that. That's a miss, Durker with the board.
This may be a problem for CLS, especially with how they've been shooting the basketball. They cannot fall in love with a 3-pointer, especially they still need to try to look for the best shot possible. If the 3-pointer is found within their play though,
that's just a great escape there by Hamilton, Mikey.
And Hamilton has been really on a tear on the offensive, on offense, scoring against the defense of CLS, finding his way down low, getting that open basket.
And the Heat restore a 4-point lead, 30-26, with under 8 minutes to play in the first half. And that is a great hook shot coming from Daryl Watkins.
The hook shot, the lost art in basketball.
Yeah, and a steal by Esho. He's coming off 6 of those. Esho, nice delivery over to Watkins, and he will clean it up himself. Maxi Esho does.
And the activity of Maxi Esho, getting the steal, almost the assist, but he gets the offensive rebound and 2 points for Maxi Esho.
And a block now by Daryl Watkins on Chris Durker. So that's how fast the CLS Knights can turn things around with their offense. As we're going to have our first rest now for Daryl Watkins, and in comes Firman Nugroho, one of the longtime members of the Indonesian national team.
And again, Maxi Esho tapping that basketball out. So he's been really using his length here in the ABL season, trying to get those steals.
Inbound play now for the Heat. And again, another near pick coming from Sandy Corneawan this time. 7-12 to play in the second. They finally get it inside. Trevon Hughes, nobody there to protect the rim. When Daryl Watkins sits down, somebody has to step up to be a rim protector.
That was too easy for Trayvon Hughes, especially talking about a guy who hasn't been really playing his best basketball the past few games. This confidence that he is finding here in the first half is very important for them.
Corneawan, he's known for that. Nugroho can't keep it alive, and here come the Heat. Hughes attracts two defenders. Get it over to Tran. Moving around, three-pointer on its way. That is off. And Tran, what a heads-up play for the little guy.
And Tran, like what we said, maybe the smallest guy on the floor, but definitely not the smallest heart on the floor. Getting that extra possession for his team, a chance for them to extend this 2-point lead.
Justin Young on the inbound now. Hughes working against his zone defense now for the Knights, and zone defenses can be broken by outside shots just like that from Tran.
And because of that extra possession that Tran found for his team, Tran gets that reward with that three-point basket from the left corner.
So Trang Dang Quang with his second three-pointer of the game. Hidayat gets it over now to Esho. Esho on the step back three, good!
Maxi Esho in his bag with that step back three-pointer, and we see the range of Maxi Esho. I don't think he hasn't been really attacking the paint, but he doesn't have to.
Right. Here's a guy who's been quiet so far, Kyle Barone. That's going to be a reach in on Firman Nugroho. Now, Nugroho's about 6'4", going up against 6'11". So he's got to be careful. He is in there to give valuable rest minutes to Daryl Watkins.
So we see this. Kyle Barone needs to learn how to just face up and shoot over his defender, because like what we said, his defender may be smaller than him, but his defender can really bang bodies. So I don't think he'd want that problem down low.
Tran very shifty. Tran from 12 on the fall away. No, Barone is there again.
Right place, right time for Kyle Barone, saving that possession. 4-point lead for the Heat here.
Herring. Nugroho posting up. They're going to get it outside to Wong Wei Long, who's back in the game. Wong against Tran. That's another interesting matchup. Wong moves it around now. Isolation. It is Herring against Hughes, and Herring on the step back. That would have been part of the highlight reel.
Almost, but not quite there for Herring. Putting Hughes on skates, but unfortunately missing the jumper.
Still the Heat lead by 4 with 5 minutes to go in the first half. There's a lob pass for Kyle Barone, and Nugroho was a little late on defense.
Again, that's the height advantage of Kyle Barone and the recognition of Trayvon Hughes just throwing it up there for Kyle Barone to get. Just throwing it up there. See that height advantage of Kyle Barone again putting into play here by Saigon.
Now we're going to have a timeout called by Coco Nugroho. Heat still up by 4, 37-33. Back in a moment.
To Kyle Barone a lot more when Watkins was on the bench. And now he is rewarded with 2 free throws here. A chance for him to extend this. Oh.
Well, Kyle Barone, that's actually a rare miss for Mr. Barone, who's actually more known as a perimeter threat, but again does the job on the offensive glass and cleans up a lot of missed shots. There you go. So 38-33, Barone's going to take a rest. And back comes Hamilton. Now, they don't lose much by doing this because Hamilton also has length.
Knights, come on.
Here's Herring bringing it down. 4:45 to play in the second quarter. Wong Wei Long hit 2 threes in the first quarter. Wong Wei Long just finding Daryl Watkins. It's that simple. If they only wish it could be that way all the time.
That was a nice pass coming from Wong Wei Long. Attacking the basket, using his body to shield off Tran. Getting in the air, almost getting trapped in the air there. But finding his big, again, the recognition of CLS, finding the guys with mismatches, and he saw Watkins there against a much smaller defender.
And Watkins has really improved on his free throw shooting. He has yet to miss today. He's 3 of 3 But again, going back to that last play, the veteran Wong Wei Long will always find a way to bail out his team one way or another.
That's when you know a point guard is a vet, because he will try to set the offense up, but he knows when to take over in certain possessions. And in that instance right there, giving his team 2 points, Wong Wei Long.
That lead is down to 3 with 4.5 to play here in the first half. They now shift to a man-to-man defense once again, the CLS Knights do. Tran thinking about it. Entry pass broken up. Here's Brandon Jawato leading a 3-on-2. Herring can't finish, but it is followed up by Maxi Esho.
Really just the activity of Maxi Esho, not giving up on the play. Still going down the floor, even though Herring had that obvious advantage against Tran, getting that offensive rebound and 2 points for Maxi Esho.
Lead is down to 1, 38-37. Oh, nice find that time by Young, connecting with Hamilton.
And the locals finding their imports. That was a nice pass there. And Hamilton again. We were talking about how they lost offense when they replaced
Murphy Brandotowski
with Hamilton. But Hamilton here today, showing us the arsenal.
Oh, how about this? This is just a bully move coming from Terrell Watkins. He knows he's got the width advantage that time.
He was waiting for that double team, and when it didn't come, he was just raring to bulldoze himself to the rim.
Durker getting it over to Young. Now Durker trying to post up against the smaller Doug Herring. Durker in trouble. Hamilton from deep. And can't get it to go. Chris Durker against 4 violet shirts, getting the offensive rebound. And Hamilton, boy, there's a problem now for the BTN CLS Knights. They cannot buy a rebound.
And when you look at the rebounding department for CLS Knights, this has been something that they have to improve the whole season. They're 8th in the league for rebounding, and that is why Saigon is taking advantage, getting all those offensive boards and putbacks.
Oh, nice pass. Esho met at the rim by D'Angelo Hamilton. That was a great pass by Brandon Jawato.
17, D'Angelo Hamilton.
So Hamilton will be whistled for this one. And I believe is his second foul.
But still, great effort there for Hamilton. No easy buckets, especially in a game this important. Because not only did it save his team 2 points, but it also saved this team the energy that the crowd could bring in.
You're absolutely
after
right.
a slam like that from Maxi Esho.
It turns out to be a good foul because Maxi Esho missed the front end of 2. With 2:40 remaining in the second. Saigon still leading against the BTN CLS Knights, trying to keep it as low scoring as possible. 2 misses by Maxi Esho.
It turns out to be a very good foul for Hamilton there.
Here's Tran. And Celia back in the game. Saw some limited action in the first. Hamilton lines up another 3. He knew it was going to miss. Tries to track it down, and he does. Hamilton on the drop pass inside. Wow.
And Hamilton has gotten 2 offensive rebounds after taking a 3-pointer. So this time out here, we all know what coach will talk about. And those are the offensive rebounds that the Saigon Heat has been getting all day long.
Heat up by 5 once again. We'll be right back. Yes.
And has really been consistent the whole first half in trying to be aggressive both on offense and defense against the CLS Knights.
Here's Maxi Esho. Handing it over now to Brandon Jawato. They move the ball around now to Wong Wei Long. Wong penetrates. Wong pulls up, and Wong has yet to miss in this one.
And again, Wong Wei Long used to putting his team on his back even when he was with Singapore. He is not a 2-time local MVP for nothing.
You're absolutely right. That lead is down to 3. 44-41. Good response coming off the Coco Nugroho timeout. Durker has it poked. Durker lost the ball. And I believe this will be a turnover against Saigon. And Kyle Julius is not happy with that execution.
So that's a nice sequence for CLS coming off that timeout. A pull-up by Wong Wei Long and a defensive stop here. A chance for them to cut further into this lead or even tie the ball game up with a 3-pointer.
Yeah, we have less than 2 minutes remaining in this hotly contested first half. And here's Watkins. Watkins off the wrong leg, puts it in.
Not the prettiest of shots, but still 2 points for Watkins. Just a 1-point lead here, so a 4-0 spurt off of that timeout for CLS.
Hamilton tries again. Hamilton misses again. Jawato gets it. Coming up on a minute remaining. Herring all of a sudden puts on the afterburners and gets it in.
And that's what CLS can do on their home floor. 6 straight points for them. And those are points coming from different players.
Right. Celia getting it outside now to Hughes. Hughes in trouble. Tries to put it up, tries a miracle. Jawato on the fast break, and he will score.
Again, defense to offense for CLS. 8-0 run with 30 seconds left here in the second quarter. A 3-point lead for CLS.
Timeout called by Kyle Julius. This crowd is back in it. 47-44 for the Indonesians. We'll be right back.
Go back to the CLS Knights. They've been using their defense to get easy buckets on the other end.
Uh-oh. Almost a problem there. Celia almost lost it to Wong Wei Long. Now the goal, I believe, of the Saigon Heat is to keep the Knights under 50 points. They're probably still close to doing that as Trayvon Hughes knocks down a tough fall away.
Well, that's a tough shot there for Trayvon Hughes. Again, the great players will make plays when their team needs it the most, and Trayvon Hughes with a tough two-pointer there.
8 seconds remaining in the first half. Herring, 2 seconds. Herring can't beat the buzzer. And we're right back where we started at the end of the first. It was 23-22 at the end of the first 10 minutes. At the end of the first 20 minutes of this game, CLS still hanging on to a 1-point lead, 47-46 against the Saigon Heat. The ASEAN Basketball League continues as we rise to greatness. We are at the half. We'll be right back.
This is where it all begins. We're partners, you and I. When we're together, we're unstoppable. When we're together, anything is possible. At BTN, we know the power of partnership. A good partner works with you intimately. A good partner knows what you need. A good partner always has your back. A partner for starting your dream family, building your dream home, realizing the dream. It takes courage to begin, but it takes encouragement to keep on going. So go on, dream big. We're with you every step of the way. You have a partner in BTN.
Ketika keadaan tak sesuai harapan. Stop! Jangan banyak drama. Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Traveling kini tak perlu repot tukar uang ke money changer. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas. Tanpa provisi, tanpa drama.
Bank BTN.
Makan mie jangan mikir. Nih, Fit mie, gak bikin gendut.
Fit mie, makan mie, jangan mikir.
Ketika keadaan tak sesuai harapan. Stop! Jangan banyak drama. Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Kamu bisa mulai tabungan kamu tanpa khawatir kurs naik turun. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas. Tanpa provisi, tanpa drama.
Bank BTN.
Makan mie jangan pakai mikir. Nih, Fit mie, 50 kalori doang. Bisa gitu.
Fit mie, makan mie, jangan mikir.
Ketika keadaan tak sesuai harapan. Stop! Jangan banyak drama. Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Dengan kurs kompetitif, bisnis kamu akan selalu mendapat nilai tukar terbaik. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas. Tanpa provisi, tanpa drama.
This is where it all begins. We're partners, you and I. When we're together, we're unstoppable. When we're together, anything is possible. At BTN, we know the power of partnership. A good partner works with you intimately. A good partner knows what you need. A good partner always has your back. A partner for starting your dream family, building your dream home, realizing the dream. It takes courage to begin, but it takes encouragement to keep on going. So go on, dream big. We're with you every step of the way. You have a partner in BTN.
Coach, playing without Coach Brian Rossum at the court side, is there anything different for preparing this game?
It's nothing different because coach already told me and the coaching staff what we need to do. Both side on the defensive end, offensive end, and then we just give the guys like you gotta execute it. That's all.
All right, Coach. Talking about the first and the second quarter, what is the main thing that we have to fix before moving on to our second half?
The desperation and the urgency on the defensive end. If like they're playing like that last 2 minutes on the second half, on the second quarter, for the rest of the game, we good.
All right, Coach. Lastly, what is the one thing that you told your team on the changing room, on the locker room?
We need to improve our backs out, especially with they got a lot of point in the paint from the offensive rebound. And the last thing is like the urgency on the desperation on the defensive end. That's all.
All right, Coach. Thank you very much. Good luck on the second half. All right, guys, back to you.
But we will see who comes out of the dugout raring to go with that sense of urgency that they need this win badly here.
Well, for the Saigon Heat, they were able to get the job done in terms of limiting the scoring of the BTN CLS Knights. They wanted to limit them below 50 points. They got that done. But again, Coach Coco Nugro, during that interview with Dion earlier, said that they need to play the way they played in the final 2 minutes of that second quarter. If they get that done, they're good.
Oh yeah, talking about the defense that they put up in the last 2 minutes, trying to get steals, making stops, hitting tough jumpers, tough inside points, and also getting those easy baskets to go in. But we talk about the first half, first quarter and second quarter, both were started strong by Saigon. And we will see if CLS can adjust to that and not fall down again to start the quarter.
They do have the first possession. Doug Herring getting the first step on Kyle Barone and gets acrobatic.
Well, that's a way to start the quarter or start the half for Doug Herring there, going strong with the weak hand finishing that acrobatic layup.
Over a 7-footer, no less. Oh, here's Tran left open, wanting to tie it up, but he overshoots. And Daryl Watkins says, possession, Indonesia.
And this is what CLS has been doing, especially in those last 2 minutes in the second quarter. Just really make it tough. Make Saigon make tough jumpers, tough, especially in the paint. Try to be physical the way Trayvon is right now with Herring.
Well, that's going to go back and forth the whole game. These are two feisty defenders going at it. Herring, 2 screens given to him to try and free him up. Now he's picked up by Barone on the switch. Shot clock down to 9 now for the Knights. Watkins, shot clock at 5, lost the handle. Oh, it looked like it got off, it went off of one of the red shirts, but they say Heat basketball.
Again, good recognition there for CLS, giving the ball to Hamilton against a smaller Trayvon Hughes, but Kyle Barone, knowing that his teammate needed the help right away, doubling from the blind side, forcing that turnover.
Here's Hamilton, that's a little too close already in the paint. Hamilton forced into a tough shot there by Esho. Wrong way long. Great transition defense here by the Heat. However, they left Brandon Jawatu open. He will miss.
Would have been a big three-pointer there. Would have extended this lead further.
Tran on the lob pass inside. Barone knows exactly what to do when he's that close to the rim.
Well, that's an easy shot there. The smooth stroke of Kyle Barone falling away from the basket, but hitting that with the shooter's bounce.
Right. Nice soft touch for the big man. That lead is down to 1. And that's a bit of a mismatch right there. Trayvon Hughes will be the first to admit. Hughes is barely 6 feet tall going up against a 7-footer.
And that was a better job for CLS, spacing the floor, making sure that Hamilton can get that ball with space against a smaller Trayvon Hughes, forcing him to foul there.
Uh-oh. Again, finding the opportunity to try and steal one from the inbound. That's going to be 2 free throws now for Daryl Watkins. Foul on Young.
And these are the possessions that can give the other team confidence, especially these easy passes coming from Jawato there, finding his teammate down low. Again, forcing Saigon to another foul. That is their second here.
And check that. That foul went against Tran Danghua. That's his 3rd. And again, Daryl Watkins automatic at the free throw line. 5 of 5 today. The Knights don't care if they win by 10 or they win by 1. They just want that win to put them temporarily at 3rd place in the team standings.
And again, in search for that home court advantage entering the playoffs by the CLS Knights.
This is a team that actually even struggled last season. Hamilton, double team, tries to get it out. And that is still saved, but to the wrong guy. Oh, great defense that time played by Celia.
And these are the small plays that the locals have been making for their team. Celia there saving his team 2 points. Jawata could have protected the ball a little bit better there. Could have gotten those easy 2 points, and here come the Saigon Heat.
Great defensive stop once again by the Heat. Kyle Barone, nobody's stopping the ball, and the big man gets a dunk.
And Kyle Barone, you're talking about a 7-footer bringing the ball down, looking for the opening and attacking that right away for that slam.
So the Knights lead down to 1. Jawato lobbing it inside now to Daryl Watkins. Watkins against Barone. Watkins! And Kyle Barone can't believe the foul was called on him. That's his 2nd.
And Watkins using his heft, bringing Kyle Barone all the way deep in the paint and using his body to fish for that foul here. Leaning in, forcing Kyle Barone.
And that is a battle of the giants. Wow, Daryl Watkins, how about 7 of 7 from the free throw line from a guy who shot 60-something% when he first started out here in the league.
And that's big because it just negates the thought that Saigon can have in trying to foul Watkins down low, making him earn his points from the free throw line. But Watkins right now, focused as ever behind that 15-foot line.
8 of 8 in the game for Daryl Watkins. Knights again up by 3 against Saigon. Coming up on 7 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Corey Celia. Trayvon Hughes. They're looking for Barone in the post, and that is poked away by Daryl Watkins. 8 to shoot for Saigon.
Saigon looking for points from different people. Kyle Barone has done his part, but I believe some of the other players need to be aggressive also to make it easier for Kyle Barone.
And that jumper will drop. That's a long 2, and Doug Herring is saying, guys, I need a little help. He came off 2 screens there.
Good shot there, though, for Trayvon Hughes.
Long way long. Turned back at the door, however, by Barone. And a bad pass on the fast break. And Daryl Hamilton, I'll make that D'Angelo Hamilton almost going straight to Jakarta after that one.
Wasted opportunity there for Saigon, but still good defense for Kyle Barone, timing that block well to get the possession. But CLS holding their ground will get the ball back, a chance to regain the lead here.
Tied at 53 with 6:41 to play in the 3rd. And again, Saigon keeping this low scoring, which was one of their goals coming in. Wong Wei Long gets the first step. Herring passed up on the shot. Three-pointer, Jawato not there. And Corey Celia doing a little bit of everything as well right now.
You gotta love the unselfishness of the CLS Knights. Passing up a good shot for a better shot. Jawato just failing to connect from deep.
Close to 6 minutes to go in the third. Hughes leaving Daryl Watkins behind. And Hughes gets to the line.
Hughes with a step on Watkins. Bringing it back to his right side, forcing Watkins to that foul.
That's going to be foul number 2 on Daryl Watkins. So Trayvon Hughes, again, one of the smaller American imports that we have here in the ASEAN Basketball League.
But the best version of Trayvon Hughes will always be the aggressive one. Here in the third quarter, in past few possessions, trying to get shots, trying to create for himself. And the more he creates for himself, the more he will be able to create for his teammates, because the defense will obviously focus on him.
And with that free throw, Saigon regains the lead. So 6:03 to play in the third. Hamilton's going to take a seat for now. So now Herring wanting to set the table. Wong Wei Long getting the first step on Celia, pulls back. Wong using the screen by Watkins, lost the ball, but the foul is called on Saigon.
And I believe the refs bailed Wong Wei Long in that possession. Almost a turnover there. And Trayvon Hughes was ready to push the basketball in that instance. But CLS will have another shot here in this possession.
More importantly, that foul will now put the Saigon Heat at the team foul limit with still 5:45 to play. And away from play, another foul is called. Now this will mean free throws for the BTN CLS Knights.
And this is the reward that the CLS Knights will get for being aggressive in the first 4 minutes of this quarter. Already in the penalty is Saigon Heat, so the Knights will continue to attack the basket, fish for fouls, because that'll mean 2 free throws right away, automatic for their team.
Yeah, Chris Durker immediately called the players-only meeting at the free throw line as Doug Herring. And you know that the CLS Knights, BTN CLS Knights, are going to be more aggressive heading towards the hoop right now because the red shirts are in the penalty. So Doug Herring makes good on the first. 2 for 2, the lead goes back to the Knights.
So many good matchups here tonight.
Yes.
You have Herring and
Trayvon Hughes.
Trayvon Hughes. You have Barone and Watkins.
And you have Hamilton and Esho as well.
Hamilton and Esho. You have the local point guards in Wong Wei Long and Tran.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting matchups here today, but we will see which team will get the win.
Back in the game is Hamilton. And the jumper from the side does not work for Trayvon Hughes. Here comes Herring. And Herring has it poked away. A little nonchalant on that dribble. Hughes hangs in the air. Good challenge that time by Jawato. Herring, a little problem with the handles. Jawato breaks free and scores.
And these are the breaks that both teams are looking for. That was just pure effort coming from Jawato, running the floor, finding himself open for the layup.
Barone, good challenge there by Wong Wei Long.
And the crowd is getting into it for the CLS Knights.
Herring, slow it down once again. Doug Herring is like an extension of the coach there on the floor. He's new to the team, did not start the season with the team, but has really imbibed the system of Brian Rousem. Oh! Another acrobatic finish for Brandon Jawato.
And another recognition of the mismatch. Jawato finding himself in the lane against the smaller Tran and just going strong to the hole.
How about 6 unanswered now for the BTN CLS Knights? Foul is called, however, on Firman Nugroho. That'll be his third. And Tran is so good at baiting fouls against the big guys of the opposition.
And you really gotta love the game of this kid, Tran. attacking the basket.
And it's still anybody's guess what the playoff positioning will be. The one thing is for sure, though, the Zhuhai Wolf Warriors will miss the playoffs in their maiden season. We don't even know if the Westports Malaysia Dragons can catch up with Mono Vampire for that 8th spot. And who's going to be number 1? Is it going to be San Miguel Ala Pilipinas, the defending champions? Or will the Formosa Dreamers even catch up? So many questions yet to be answered.
Well, basically, we all know which 8 teams will make it to the playoffs, but like what you said, it's really the positioning and who you're going to go up against, and more importantly, who's going to get home court advantage, which is very, very important, or a big, big advantage coming into the playoffs.
Lead down to 4. Nugroho on the pump fake, asking for a clear out against Barone. Nugroho up and under. Barone gets a piece of it.
Not the best possession there for the CLS Knights, giving Saigon a chance to cut further into this lead. Where will Saigon go?
Tran playing with 3 fouls. Gets it over to Young, looking for Barone. Barone 9 to shoot, posting up against Nugroho. No problem for Kyle Barone.
And the double team needs to come a little bit earlier to Kyle Barone, just muscling his way down low for that easy finger roll.
And the rests of Daryl Watkins getting shorter and shorter because of the matchup. Sandy Cornyawan had to act as a goalkeeper that time to keep that one in play. Wong on the drive. Wong on the pull-up. Wong way long, that's his first miss of the game. Nugroho fighting for it. And Barone tracks it down.
And these are the stops Saigon needs to catch up. And here they are, a chance to tie this ball game up.
Tran going to Corey Celia. And that is kicked out by Wong Wei Long. And here comes Daryl Watkins once again.
Quick adjustment there for BTN CLS. Right away with after that basket from Kyle Barone, Watkins comes back in because it's just really Watkins who has that inside presence that can negate the easy points down low.
It looks like it's going to be another play for the outside for Barone. Tran leaves everybody behind. What a pass by Tran to Hamilton.
Oh, what a no-look pass there for Tran, knowing where his big man was, finding him for that easy deuce. More importantly, tying this ball game up at 59 with 2:30 left in the third.
5 unanswered points this time for the Saigon Heat. You're right, Mikey. It has been a game of spurts for these two squads. And it's now Watkins asking for the post against Barone. Watkins passes up on the shot. Sandy Cornyawan missing. The crowd was waiting to explode there for Sandy Cornyawan.
And these right now, 3 consecutive stops for Saigon. They were down by 4 after that timeout. And here, they can take this lead. And all because of their defense.
Here's Barone once again. Barone now working on Esho. And Hamilton offensive rebound. That's number 3 on Daryl Watkins.
And Hamilton has been doing a good job because he knows the defense will focus on Kyle Barone, just positioning himself in case Kyle Barone misses. And when Kyle Barone does, there he is, getting the offensive board, fishing for those fouls. He doesn't really need a play to make something out of nothing, talking about Hamilton.
Well, D'Angelo Hamilton was offensive-minded in the second quarter, makes his first free throw. Heat regained the lead. And this is what you like about Kyle Julius and his coaching style. He knows that Murphy Bernatowski is no longer with the team, so they've transitioned from being a highly offensive team to a more defensive-oriented squad.
It is really knowing your role. Talking about Hamilton, he knew beforehand he cannot replace someone like Bernatowski. He can only play his own game, but the adjustment of the Saigon Heat.
That was too easy for the Indonesians. As Watkins gets the lob pass from Herring, Young couldn't stop him. 3-point play opportunity.
High-low play there for the CLS Knights for that easy end-one opportunity here for Hamilton. And again, it's really just been a game of runs. Who can make that last run, especially in the fourth quarter? Who can make that decisive run that can change the complexion of this game? Because all the other runs have been answered and all the other runs have been countered by both teams.
So Daryl Watkins, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Chris Durker comes back in for the Saigon Heat. 1 minute and 43 to go in the third. Watkins continues to be spotless at the line, 9 of 9.
That stroke by Watkins. Obviously, that's what he's been working on in
That's
practice.
true. That's true. 62-60 for the BTN CLS Knights. A great escape by Barone. Nice fight by Chris Durker.
Again, Kyle Barone just knowing what to do with the basketball. Even without the basketball, he knew how to get that ball and put it in the rim as easiest of ways as possible.
Here's Herring forcing it up. Not a good offensive thrust that time for the BTN CLS Knights. The numbers are there. Oh-ho! LEU play to Hamilton from Tran.
You really gotta love how Tran is facilitating the offense here in the third quarter, in the last few minutes.
Crowd getting into this one. Heat up by 2 once again. Jawato turns the corner, loops it up with the left hand.
That's a tough shot for Jawato using his weak hand. He didn't even use the bank on that layup.
Tied at 64 once again. Hamilton staying aggressive. Can't get it to go, but Esho will be called for this one.
And this is the intensity that Hamilton brings to the table for Saigon, not only on the defensive end, but also on the offensive end. Not a lot of skill, but really his intensity and his will to make the basket and bring the ball as deep as he can under the rim.
Now Hamilton now also being affected by the crowd. Look at Coach Kyle Julius, a picture of calm. The Heat wanting to snap a 2-game losing skid, and their last loss came against the Westport Malaysia Dragons. So the Dragons still breathing for that playoff spot as the Saigon Heat regain the lead. Oh, a technical foul is going to be called on Maxi Esho. He is showing that he has been scratched and no foul is called. And he is showing that there is a wound. Is that a technical foul, or are they calling a timeout, an injury timeout?
I think they called a technical foul on Maxi Esho as he was continuously complaining to the refs.
Well, the downside of that, Mikey, is that's number 3 on Esho. Nugro is going to come in to finish the final 30 seconds.
You already know this is when Kyle Barone smells blood. Every time Maxi Esho or Hamilton sits on the bench.
But that was literally blood coming out of the arm of Maxi Esho as Tran sinks the technical free throw. It will still be ball possession to the BTN CLS Knights.
And in a game like this, every point counts. That's an extra point for Saigon.
And that is now a 2-point lead for the visitors. Shot clock and game clock separated by about 5.5 seconds. Herring, bothered by Tran. Herring makes his move. Herring tries to get it over to Nugroho. And here is Watkins with the reverse.
And again, the activity of Watkins.
At the buzzer, good if it goes. Good line, just a little too strong. And how about this? We got a tied game after 3 quarters. 66 all between the BTN CLS Knights.
Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Traveling kini tak perlu repot tukar uang ke money changer. Uang saku kuliah kamu di luar negeri tak lagi terpotong ini itu. Kamu bisa mulai tabungan kamu tanpa khawatir kurs naik turun. Dan dengan kurs kompetitif, bisnis kamu akan selalu mendapat nilai tukar terbaik. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas.
Lapar, makan mie jangan mikir. Nih, nih, tak bikin dulu.
Fit me, makan mie, jangan mikir.
Ketika keadaan tak sesuai harapan, stop! Jangan banyak drama. Kenalin, Velas, sahabatmu dalam setiap transaksi falas. Uang saku kuliah kamu di luar negeri tak lagi terpotong ini itu. Nikmati dunia tanpa batas bersama Velas. Tanpa provisi, tanpa drama.
Struggling here at home, only scoring 19 points in that third quarter.
And that's the defense of the Saigon Heat. Just establishing themselves in that third quarter. And that's what they need here to finish off this ball game. They want to get this away win.
Jumper to start the fourth is good from D'Angelo Hamilton. So 68-66. CLS Knights have to find a way to activate their offense. Maxi Esho was actually very quiet in that third quarter. And now Esho on the back door. Esho with a reverse.
Oh, what a nice pass there coming from Herring, but Maxi Esho with that nifty reverse, that nifty lay-in to tie this ball game up again at 68.
Coco Nugro is asking for everybody to stay home on defense. Barone attracts the double team. Gets it out to Hughes. 7 to shoot, Hughes against Herring. Hughes nowhere to go. Tran has to create. Tran creates and scores!
But that's a tough shot for Tran. Again, Tran just putting his team on his back.
Tran reminds me so much of Joshua Munson. When he puts it on the floor, anything goes. 70-68. Oh, ambush at the rim. Tran called for his fourth.
And that's big, talking about a guy who has been very aggressive on the defensive end. Now he has to lay low a little bit in the next few minutes because he doesn't want to foul out in an all-important game like this.
Let's see this one again. That was a bump.
Is it on Tran or is it on Hughes?
According to what I'm seeing right now, that is foul number 4 on Tran Dankwa. Jawato missing the front end of 2. 8:47 to play. And this one, 2 misses from Brandon Jawato. So fatigue starting to set in now for the Knights.
This is where execution comes to play. You have to look for the best shot possible, especially during games like this and possessions like this.
Barone, quadruple team, lost the ball. And Herring pulls back once again. Herring for 3. Knights regain the lead.
I was about to say he could have attacked the basket against the smaller Trayvon Hughes, but he knew what he was trying to do, getting those 3 points and making those 3 points. Is Herring giving his team a 1-point lead.
Coming off a 36-point performance in the win against Singapore. And a steal by Cornyawan. Ball is loose. Taken back by Saigon. Trayvon Hughes missing. And Daryl Watkins secures. Cornyawan now pushing it up. Herring once again slowing it down. Herring faking the 3 this time. Esho on the sidestep. And Corey Celia will send him to the line.
And the skill of Maxi Esho again in full display. And that move to the basket, that pump fake, getting Hamilton in the air, beating him off the dribble. Pump fake off the dribble to his right, using his length, using his long strides to get to the basket and fish for that foul from Trayvon Hughes. 2 free throws for Maxi Esho.
You're right about the length of this young man. Maxi Esho, one of the top contenders for the Import MVP award.
And it's crazy how the favor changes so quickly here into this game.
Yes.
Again, Knights with this 2-point lead. Just a few seconds ago, it was the Heat with a 4-point lead.
Now a 3-point lead for the BTN CLS Knights. Saigon looking to hang on here. Trying to keep the Knights within striking distance. Celia passed up on the shot. Looking for Barone, and Barone tracks an instant triple team. And if that is on Watkins, that's his 4th.
A little too aggressive there for the CLS Knights.
So it hasn't registered on the board yet. 7:22 to play in the fourth. Well, they say number 3 on Watkins. Deep three is good. Coming from Trayvon Hughes. Tight game.
That was a long one from Trayvon Hughes. Look at the intensity in this guy's face. He wants this win so bad from his team, trying to recover from those 2 straight losses.
Herring. Nice cut by Jawato.
Movement without the basketball for Jawato. And nice find coming from Herring. Again, like what you were saying, Herring playing like a playing coach here in today's game.
Continuing the unselfishness. Nice screen provided again for Trayvon Hughes. And he knocks down the 3. Heat back up by 1.
And this is when the stars come out to play.
Yeah. Herring. And that's probably going to be an offensive foul, it appears. As down goes Trayvon Hughes, shaken up.
And again, that was a play made by Trayvon Hughes. Not only is he playing excellent offense, but on the defensive end, making it happen for his team.
That is number 4 officially now for Daryl Watkins. And a timeout called by Coco Nugroho. Trying to snap a 2-game skid. Up by 1 against the home team, the BTN CLS Knights. The Knights have only lost 3 times in this building the entire season. And they're riding high on a 2-game win streak. But this game, Mikey, is still in the balance.
And Saigon trying to come in here. Again, this crazy crowd trying to keep them at bay. Because once the crowd gets into this, especially during the fourth quarter with like 6:30 left, that's a big advantage for CLS.
That's a miss there for Barone. This is the final home game of the regular season for the BTN CLS Knights. Nugroho falls down and lost the ball. Has been struggling today, Firma Nugroho, who now has to play extended minutes because of Daryl Watkins' foul trouble. So again, the final home game for the BTN CLS Knights. They have one more game remaining on their schedule. That is on March 22 on the road against Hong Kong Eastern at the Southern Stadium, another place that's very hard to win.
And you want all the momentum that you can get going to Hong Kong.
Uh-oh, bad decision that time by Trayvon Hughes, but Hamilton not giving up on the play. And Trent has it poked away. Heat keep possession with almost a full shot clock.
And Trayvon Hughes, as hot as he has been in the last few minutes, should have taken that shot.
Yeah.
He has made a lot of other tougher shots. Should have taken that open shot right there.
They still have another crack at this one now. And a little bit of a push there by Hughes, not called by the officials. Trent for 3. Hamilton, offensive rebound. More free throws coming up for Saigon.
And Herring asking for the foul in that instance. But Saigon taking advantage. Again, another offensive board for them and another chance, another crack at the basket. 2 free throws here for Hamilton, who has been a monster down low, both on offense and defense.
A lot of offensive boards picked up by D'Angelo Hamilton in this one. And he's at the free throw line right now, hoping to extend the lead of the Saigon Heat. 5:32 remaining in the fourth. And Hamilton has been having a little bit of issues with his shoes. We saw that during the pregame shoot-around.
Again, that's the floor of the CLS Knights that they are very familiar with.
And again, the mop man, at around this time in the fourth quarter, the mop man get very busy.
Especially with a game like this, every possession counts.
Coco Nugroho on your screens, taking over for Brian Rousem today, who is not with the team. All important free throws once again. Saigon up 2. Saigon up 3.
And Hamilton calmly sinking that free throw, giving his team the cushion that they need.
Esho still quiet in the second half. Jawato. Herring for 3. No. And good boxing out by Barone. Here comes Tran.
Good stop here for Saigon. We'll see where they go to in this offensive possession.
Tran penetrates, loops it up. Good challenge that time by Nugroho. And it'll be CLS basketball.
It's a little too much there for Tran, but you gotta love still the aggressiveness of this kid. Trying to attack the basket, trying to make something, trying to make a play. But CLS will get this ball back.
It's like a mini Joshua Munzon. And I'm sure the Saigon fans are very familiar with that reference. Under 5 to play in the fourth. Jowato on the drive. Jowato!
Again, recognizing the mismatch. He had that height advantage, that weight advantage against the smaller Tran, attacking the basket at will, scoring 2 points for his team.
Trayvon Hughes once again coming off of 2 screens. 10 to shoot for the Heat. Barone passes up on the shot. Corey Celia, big contribution on that 3.
What a big shot there for Celia on the left corner, asking for that basketball, pleading for that extra pass, and making sure that it goes in. Talking about Celia.
4-point lead now for Saigon as we come up on 4 minutes remaining. Wong Wei Long can't get it back. And another rebound for Saigon. Here's Tran. Barone attacks. Barone on the run. Hamilton, another offensive rebound, but it's taken away by Herring.
Fortunately there, the CLS Knights get that steal, but again, another offensive rebound.
Herring wants this matchup against Tran. Saigon's gonna drop down to a zone though. Tran almost gets it away. Jowato lost his footing, and Tran comes away with it. Hamilton in the open court, and Hamilton with a slam.
And I believe Tran will be given free throws.
Yeah, there was a technical foul called on the Knights, and now Saigon matching their biggest lead of the game. They started this game 7-zip. That's going to be an unsportsmanlike, it appears. Called on one of the players of CLS Knights, and now Saigon with their biggest lead of the game, 85-77.
And ball will stay with Saigon, so a chance for them to even extend this lead to double digits.
They will have 14 to shoot. Barone, 3 and 23 to go. Tran lobs it inside, and Barone is held. And that'll be foul number 4 on the BTN CLS Knights. I'll check that. Foul number 5. They were over the limit.
So 2 free throws here for Kyle Barone. That was on Jowato, trying to hold on Kyle Barone there, knowing that he had the mismatch.
So Kyle Barone can extend this to a double-digit spread. But he missed his first.
This is when each and every point counts, especially with 3 and 20 left. Yes, they have that 8-point lead, talking about Saigon, but with how this game has gone, an 8-point lead is not safe, especially going up against a team like the CLS Knights on their home floor.
Pressure now applied in the backcourt, light pressure. Just to slow things down. Wong Wei Long gets it across, coming up on the final 3 minutes of this one. Herring lost the ball. Hamilton ahead to Tran, and Tran gives Saigon their biggest lead of the game, a double-digit spread, 88-77.
And again, execution down the stretch.
And Jowato gets that one back. And they're running out of time, 2 and 45 to play. 88-79 Saigon.
The Knights need to compose themselves. They can't get back in this ball game with 1 possession. They need to play this out 1 possession at a time, make stops and make baskets.
Uh-oh. Trayvon Hughes escapes. And Esho gave up the foul. Is that going to be on Jowato or on Esho? That is on Jowato, number 4 on him. As we see this one again, Jowato came over to help, made sure that there was no clean shot for Trayvon Hughes. So again, 88-79. 2:29 to go. Saigon Heat gonna call a timeout. And there's also gonna be free throws coming up now for Trayvon Hughes. 2 and 29 remaining. Hughes missing on the first.
And these are free throws that they don't want to regret missing at the end game.
You know, the 3-guard rotation inserted by Coach Kyle Julius with Hughes, Tran, and Corey Celia has been very, very effective. However, 2 misses at the line. Herring wants to push the pace. Herring scores.
And that's exactly what Herring needs to do. Get the basketball and try to make play, attacking the basket, trying to get that foul, that end one opportunity, but still the focus to make the basket nonetheless.
Tran slowing it down as the Saigon Heat try to befriend the clock. We are now at the final 2 minutes. Heat 88, Knights 81, and a turnover once again. Esho. Esho for 3.
That was an important possession there.
Well, now all the more Saigon's going to slow this down. 3-possession lead with 1:35 to go.
Still mathematically possible if they can get this stop here. Talking about the Knights.
Hughes. Tran. Almost. Let's go. And they got to hurry. They have 1:18 remaining.
You already know Herring will attack this defense.
Herring does. Herring loops it up. Wild shot. Gets it back and puts it in.
And the intensity of Herring not giving up.
That's down to a 5-point lead with 63 seconds to go. Oh, and almost another turnover, and it is an 8-second backcourt violation. Suddenly, the Knights coming to life on defense.
This is what we were saying. No lead is safe against the CLS Knights, especially in front of their home crowd. And Herring doing it on both ends of the floor, forcing that turnover.
But they still need to score with under a minute remaining, down 5. Herring, 3-pointer. And the offensive rebound to Watkins. Esho, Watkins gets it out. Wong Wei Long for 3. Good!
Wong Wei Long. His calling card will always be his shooting stroke. And that big 3-pointer, bringing this lead down to 2 points.
And Saigon will use its final timeout in regulation.
Again, 2-time local MVP, Wong Wei Long, cutting this lead back down to 2 points.
They want to get it from the back court and move it to the front court to get the full shot clock. Another steal! This time by Jawato. A chance to tie or take the lead. 3-pointer by Wong Wei Long. Knights on top by 1! No timeouts remaining for Saigon. 10-zip run in the final 2 minutes. Tran, batted away. Barone. 7 seconds to go and a foul called on Doug Herring. Both teams are out of timeouts here, Mikey, but more importantly, the Knights are in the penalty. And 2 free throws coming up for Trayvon Hughes with 6.8 to go.
But Wong Wei Long, again, 2-time local MVP, was also voted this year as the local MVP in the mid-season fan awards.
Yeah.
All-time league leader in 3 points made. But those last 2 3-pointers may spell the big difference in this game.
Well, we still have free throws coming up for Trayvon Hughes, who's also played a brilliant game today.
But still, Trayvon Hughes can take this lead after these 2 free throws, but he did miss 2 free throws just before these 2 right here.
I can't hear what you're saying. This crowd is on top of Trayvon Hughes right now, but he makes it on the first one. We have a tied game at 89.
Calmly making the first free throws, Trayvon Hughes.
Now remember, both teams are out of timeouts.
He needs to make one to put the pressure on the CLS Knights.
Final free throw. 6.8 to go. Good on 2. And a sub is going to come in. Oh, check that. I believe a timeout. Yes, they still had one timeout remaining. Coco Nugro is going to move this to the front court by the BTN CLS Knights. Does not knock them out of the top 4 just yet. It just makes it a little bit more difficult because they wanted to take care of business at home before going to the Saigon Stadium in Hong Kong.
And they don't want to go through that tougher route for that home court advantage. So they will need to find a way to score in this possession and squeak this come from behind victory in front of their home crowd.
And they are on their feet here at the Gorkartajaya Gymnasium in Surabaya. Esho gets it. Herring drives. Herring hangs up. Yes! Yes! 2.2 to go. No timeouts remaining.
Doug Herring leading his team back, getting this win.
Celia at the buzzer. And the BTN CLS Knights come from 11 points down in the final 2 minutes and shock the Saigon Heat 91-90 here at the Gorkartajaya Gymnasium.
What a basket from Doug Herring. What a win for the CLS Knights. One step closer to home court advantage for the playoffs.
And it took a complete team effort in the final 2 minutes to get the job done. They were down with a minute and a half remaining, Mikey, 88-79. And they win this one 91-90. What a display of courage and determination for the Knights in getting this win.
They just refused to give up. They were down by 9-10 points in the last 2 minutes. They refused to give up. They took it one possession at a time, make a stop, make a basket, but those 2 3-pointers coming from 2-time local MVP Wong Wei Long just really changed the complexion of the ball game, putting the pressure back to the Saigon Heat squad. And this guy, Doug Herring, finishing it off with a layup above 3 red shirts.
And Doug Herring will be the first to say it was a complete team effort. Brandon Joado had some big shots down the stretch. Of course, Wong Wei Long, Maxi Esho facilitating. Daryl Watkins spotless at the free throw line. But again, Doug Herring with the winning shot into the teeth of the defense. You know what? Saigon had 2 fouls to give. They never had a chance to use it.
They could have fouled Doug Herring on that drive. Again, that was something that they needed to know. That's the defensive awareness that they need. But, you know, Saigon can learn from this.
Yeah.
You can't be up by 9 points with 2 minutes left and rush the basketball and try to make something out of nothing. They just needed to hold on to the basketball a little bit longer.
Man, what a finish! What an ending and what a game! Another victory for the BTN CLS Knights Indonesia with a clutch performance by this man right here, Douglas Herring. You gotta tell us, what is the mindset after the final timeout with the final possession? Is it just execution for the right strategy or something else?
Just being aggressive. Coach called the play. Wanted me to just... Coach just wanted me to be aggressive, try to get to a rim and make the play. If they helped too much, I had 2 shooters on this side. They gave me the lane, I was able to knock it down.
So, the level of confidence that you have to execute the final play, is that something that you actually showcase all the time, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just all about making the right read, honestly. That's my job throughout the game, so nothing's different on the last play. They give me an opportunity to score, I gotta knock it down. And if they take it away, I gotta find my shooters and they knock down shots.
Congratulations one more time, Douglas Herring. Definitely our man of the match. Congratulations, man. Good luck for the playoffs, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
Very much, Dion. And you know what? Doug Herring is now primed to bring this kind of energy to the Saigon Stadium. And Hong Kong is watching this game intently and saying, uh-oh, we got to prepare for these guys on the road.
And this is the momentum that they were looking for, especially in this game. to propel them into the playoffs. Again, they're looking for home court advantage. And in those last 2 minutes, like what their coach was saying, the way they played the last 2 minutes in the first half, that's how they played in the last 2 minutes of this game, which got them this come-from-behind win. And that much-needed confidence and momentum going to Hong Kong and trying to win in Hong Kong's home floor.
Actually, Brandon Jowato also gets a little bit of gets some credit here for player of the game as well, with some timely hits when it just looked like the Saigon Heat were going to blow things away. Jowato also providing some fireworks here as our player of the game. But Doug Herring with the winning shot. Daryl Watkins, Maxi Esho, even Wong Wade Long's 2 3-pointers. All of that was a concerted team effort. Jowato was one of the stars tonight.
This is what we were saying. It's an imports game. You know Maxi Esho, Watkins, and Herring will be there to deliver for your team. But the 2 locals, you brought their names up, Wong Wei Long and Jowato, just putting their efforts and putting their imprint on this game. As we look at the stats here.
Yeah, Saigon's going to look at those 8 missed free throws. They did lead in the assist category, which is something hard to do against the BTN CLS Knights. They also played pretty good defense inside. But again, looking at the free throws, that told the story for this game.
And again, like what you're saying, a lot of missed free throws with 2 minutes left. Well, I said that they wouldn't want to regret those misses in the end, and they did. Like these shots right here, Doug Herring, again delivering, giving this team a much-needed win entering the playoffs in a few weeks.
Again, some clutch shots also down the stretch. Just when it looked like Saigon had done enough to pull off the victory, BTN CLS Knights never gave up. The crowd was with them the whole time. But again, kudos to the Saigon Heat. This is one of the performances that we will see in the playoffs from them, being more of a defensive-oriented team.
And this is where they need to adjust the execution down the stretch. But, you know, they also got big shots from their big 3, talking about Hamilton, Trayvon Hughes, and
Kyle Barone.
So the 3 guys will need that confidence entering the playoffs. But still, 3 straight losses for Saigon. They will need to bounce back in their next game.
They're now tied with Hong Kong for that number 6 spot in the playoffs right now. And for the moment, the CLS Knights are the number 3 team in the league with 1 more game to go. And that is on the road against Hong Kong. It has been a pleasure bringing you these games, or bringing you this matchup between the BTN CLS Knights. Let's take a look at the winning shot once again. Doug Herring twisting in the air with 2.2 seconds remaining. And that's all she wrote. That's all they needed to eke out this 91-90 victory against the visiting Saigon Heat. CLS Knights, for the moment, the number 3 team in the ASEAN Basketball League standings.
What a game again here in Indonesia. A much-needed win for the CLS Knights. Herring could have, we saw the play.
Yeah.
They could have fouled him on that drive, but still a tough shot. The upper body strength of this guy and the concentration to make that winning basket for his team, getting this win at home and propelling them to, you know, the momentum they need to go to Hong Kong and try to finish the elimination round with another win there.
Well, we are finished here at the Gorkartajaya Gymnasium, the last home game for the BTN CLS Knights. Join us again next time for more exciting action from the ASEAN Basketball League Season 9 as we rise to greatness. For Dion and my partner Mikey Reyes, my name is Noel Zarate. We will see you soon, and this has been our presentation of the ASEAN Basketball League. Rise to greatness.
This is where it all begins. The leap of faith. The first step to the journey. Towards the unknown. The challenging. The daunting. But when we're together, hand in hand, the journey becomes exciting. We're partners, you and I, together, facing your fears, pursuing your passion, breaking boundaries, building your future, overcoming challenges, celebrating every achievement. When we're together, we're unstoppable. When we're together, anything is possible. At BTN, we know the power of partnership. A good partner works with you intimately. A good partner knows what you need. A good partner always has your back. The partner for starting your dream family, building your dream home, realizing the dream. It takes courage to begin, but it takes encouragement to keep on going. So go on, dream big. We're with you every step of the way. You have a partner in BTN.